Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's great to see you. Kind of. Welcome to the APTA's Flash Action Strategy Pep Rally. What's going on? I'm your host, physical therapist Jimmy McKay, and I am so excited to be here in my own living room with you in your living room. That's how we're doing things these days. Excited this year's Flash Action Strategy, hashtag FAS 2020, is raising awareness and donations for the PT-PAC, Physical Therapy Political Action Committee, which champions APTA's legislative issues and physical therapy advocacy. And if you need any details, remember, you can always go to apta.org/FAS, or as I mentioned, follow along on the socials, hashtag FAS 2020. Now, while we're here, we want this to be interactive. We're live on Facebook. Why don't we start by letting us know where you are watching from? Just drop it in the comments, where you're located, what you do in the profession. Are you a physical therapy student, PTA student? Are you a clinician? You an academic? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have any questions, let's get interactive. Don't keep them to yourself. Drop those questions, the comments below, and we'll see how many we can bring onto the broadcast as well. We're going to cover a lot of ground real quick, giving you the information you need to know right now. So you're armed with the information you need to make an impact for your profession when it's needed most, which is actually right now. So let's do this thing. Now that the intro's out of the way, let's get this pep rally started. First up, let's welcome PT-PAC ambassador from the Badger State and APTA Student Assembly Vice President, Lindsay Dolan and Kayla Harris. Ladies!
Hey, Jimmy.
We're doing the pep rally thing.
Hello.
I had like 11 cups of coffee today to get me to this level. I don't know about you guys. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies. How are we doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Doing great.
I can speak for myself. I'm doing good.
She's doing good. Kayla, you doing all right?
I'm doing all right.
Double thumbs up. I like that. All right, ladies. First off, I want to thank you for your service for the Political Action Committee and the Student Assembly. Lindsay, I want to start with you. PT-PAC makes a big difference. I want you to give everybody out there the big picture layout of what the Flash Action Strategy is. It's got its own hashtag. It's got its own pep rally. But really, what is it? We want to make sure we start with the really, really big picture. So, Lindsay, give it to us.
Yeah, so the Flash Action Strategy it's an annual student-led campaign that unites the APTA community through advocacy. And so this year we chose, as an election year, it's all about the PT-PAC, as you did a great job introducing. It is the Physical Therapy Political Action Committee. And that committee is super important on educating and advocating for our profession and our patients. And so, yeah, we chose it this year because it is an election year. And obviously in the times of COVID, there's hard times, but we're really hoping that the next 2 days, which is when everything starts, that we really take it, and it's all about education. It's about upping your social media game and posting. It's about having conversations with people in your work, in your programs, and also sending letters to your Congress people, and just really bringing the importance of the PT-PAC to your front and center, and then having that inspire you to hopefully donate to the PT-PAC, because those funds allow us to advocate for our profession and make those connections.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people will say before a donation, before you really ask someone, just get them involved. If you're at a conference, remember when we used to go to conferences in person with people? We'll do that eventually.
Yeah.
Really, if you get around people who are involved with the PT-PAC, you start to see that energy, and that becomes kind of contagious. And then that's when you start to see the donation. So really, even if it's virtual, we're going to start to see that online, again, using that hashtag FAS 2020. And this way it kind of unites the profession online. So I think you did a great job really giving us the high level. Anything else you want to add in there to clarify for the audience? Or are we good?
Nope. Just make sure the next 2 days, get out, talk to people, and give money if you can. Anything helps.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. All right, Kayla, we're up with you. The Student Assembly Board of Directors is known to lead the charge. Dare I say, you are cheerleaders of the Student Assembly. Cheerleader? You got it. The audience out there, student physical therapists, student physical therapist assistants, and as we all know, great clinicians we start by setting good goals to achieve success. So what are the goals for the Flash Action Strategy over the next 2 days?
Awesome question. So we have three main goals. The first one is to have 3% participation from PT students and PTA students. So I definitely think that's doable. We can do it. Second goal is to raise at least $10,000. And then the third goal is to have 250 new student stars. And I don't know if you can see it, but I even have my little student star pin on today.
All right. I think, on my screen, you're frozen, but I think the student star, describe briefly what the student star is. How does someone become a student star? We're looking to make 250 student stars.
Yep. So to be a student star, you donate $20 to the PT-PAC. You get a cool pin, you get a t-shirt. Yep, $20. That's all it is. One-time donation to be a student star. And then you also get recognized on the PT-PAC website as well.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, getting involved in your profession, going to pay dividends down the road, right? Because you're hopefully going to be in this profession for a long time. Ladies, we appreciate you coming in here, really laying the groundwork. Way to bat leadoff for the Flash Action Strategy pep rally here. Thanks for all your work tonight, and thanks for leading the charge out of the gate with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, there we go. Continuing on our Flash Action Strategy pep rally here. Oh, let's get hype here. Next up in the pep rally, a man who wears a suit on Capitol Hill, but chillaxes in a gold velour jumpsuit on his downtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome APTA Vice President for Government Affairs, Justin Elliott. Got a hype intro there, Justin. A hype intro. Justin, can you hear me? Oh, is our audio good? Got frozen?
Oh,
there he is. All right.
Here I am.
There's the intro.
Justin, hey, everybody. Hey, Jimmy.
How we doing, Justin?
Good. Thanks for having me on tonight, and thanks for everyone who is watching.
Yeah, we got quite a few people out there. Let's talk about some issues, right? Yes. We want to see what the Flash Action Strategy is going to help move the needle on that you and your team are always working on at the American Physical Therapy Association. I'll toss them to you one by one. We'll kind of treat it like batting practice.
All right.
Feel free to elaborate on the issue that I throw you.
Okay.
And then draw that connection between the issue and the PT Political Action Committee and how that element is really vital to make change. We'll start with this one. Yeah. Workforce diversity.
Yes. So one of APTA's strategic priorities is to ensure that the physical therapy profession is diverse and inclusive, making sure that the PT workforce reflects the patients that we treat. And so one of the things that APTA is working on, and we're doing it in collaboration with the American Occupational Therapy and with the Speech and Hearing Language Association and the audiologists, is an exciting bill that would create a new program, a new grant program that would provide funding to universities, to PT programs, and they could utilize that money to recruit and retain individuals who are currently underrepresented in the physical therapy profession. Everyone, folks from racial and ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, folks from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. And so that legislation, which actually has passed the House and is now in the Senate, and that is a legislation that's bipartisan on the House. It's being sponsored by Congressman Bobby Rush, a Democrat from Illinois, and Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, a Republican from Washington. And then in the Senate, it's Senator Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska, and Senator Bob Casey, a Democrat from Pennsylvania. And you'll see that a lot with our bills. We are very bipartisan. And that's why PT-PAC is so important on these when we look at doing legislation, making sure that we are being bipartisan and that we're bringing people together to solve problems and address these issues. And so this legislation, which we are hopeful that will maybe see action in the Senate, but if not, it'll be back in the next Congress, is really key to ensuring that not only are we making sure and setting a future where our profession is going to be diverse and inclusive, but it also helps provide financial assistance, because we know that student loan debt is such a huge issue for us. So it's a great bill. We're very excited. And also thanks to everyone who's been providing support over the last several months and got this bill through the House.
All right, let's move on to that next topic. We got a lot of students watching right now. We're watching the comments. I'm going to watch as these explode, right? Okay. Comment money if you think this one's important. Next topic up, student loan repayment. Take it away.
Another strategic priority for APTA is to address the unsustainable situation we have in the profession, which is the mounting student loan debt that is that so many of our students and young professionals have, and it impacts so many areas of your life. I mean, not only with the ability to having to worry about the student loan repayment, it impacts where you live, what type of job you're going to take, and so we do have legislation in this Congress. It's the legislation that would add physical therapists to the National Health Service Corps loan repayment program. Now, what would happen if this bill passes? Well, it would allow physical therapists who agree to a 2-year commitment and working at a facility or a clinic that's located in a medically underserved area. And that's going to be primarily rural areas and also underserved communities in urban and suburban areas. A 2-year commitment, you would be eligible for up to $50,000 in student loan repayment, in addition to the salary that you'd be getting in that legislation. Again, this is bipartisan legislation. In the House, it's Congresswoman Diana DeGette from Colorado and Congressman John Shimkus, a Republican from Illinois. In the Senate, we have Senate. It is Senator John Tester, a Democrat from Montana, and Senator Wicker from Mississippi. And so this legislation, again, strategic priority in the House. I'm happy to report, I believe as of today, we're up to 97 co-sponsors just on the House bill. And so this is a bill that we're trying to get momentum going. We had to, with the COVID and the pandemic, a lot of our focus has been on making sure that we're providing relief to our providers, to our students, and to the public. But this bill is still a strategic priority. And again, it's just one way that we're looking to try to address the student loan debt through legislation. And one way we can do is to try to expand those opportunities for PTs and PTAs through the various federal grant and scholarship programs. And so this bill is critical to us. I know it's critical to you, and it's something that we definitely want to see and make happen. And again, by having that support of PT-PAC, we're able to engage those folks who are supporters of the physical therapy profession. And the best way a member of Congress can support the physical therapy profession right now is to support addressing the student loan debt issue.
Yeah, Justin, I'm not sure if you're watching the comments blow up underneath this, but really, I think we touched a nerve there, really keeping our fingers in the pulse there with the students. But, I want to point out you're naming these legislators by name. Who's paying attention to this? And I just want to highlight this for the students paying attention. Justin and his team building relationships with these people. That's the way that they pay attention to the issues. It's not necessarily a money spend, it's a relationship. That's what your donation is going to do. Justin's working with these people on a one-to-one, person-to-person basis, and that's how we get things solved in our government. So fantastic. So you're working on it, not just you, but your entire team.
And not only our team, but also all of the folks out there watching. I mean, we have folks in all 50 states, PTs, PTAs, students who are key contacts, federal affairs liaisons, who are part of their chapter or section legislative affairs committee, or who've just signed up to be part of APTA's advocacy network, who are building those relationships in the district, out in the states with their members of Congress. That is so key and so important because it really complements that we're doing the work that we're doing in Washington, D.C. It's not just the lobbying that the APTA lobbying team is doing. It's the work of grassroots and of PT advocates, PTA advocates, student advocates, as well. And of course, the role that the Physical Therapy Political Action Committee plays. Working all together, that's how we start moving the needle.
Woo! Yeah. Feeling all tingly right here at the Pep Rally. There we go. You want to get energy. There we are. Make sure to drop your questions in the comments below. We'll get some more topics here from Justin. Justin, where are you right now? Geographically, where are you located right now?
Right now, I'm out in Virginia. Actually, I'm out in Front Royal, Virginia. I'm visiting my parents, who I haven't seen in 6 months.
Wow.
So got a chance to go get tests for COVID. And now seeing my parents, and it's been a wonderful family reunion after being apart. And, I think that with this pandemic, we've all been forced to be apart, and it's been tough. Emotionally, financially, psychologically, it's been tough. But one thing that's great about the Flash Action Strategy, it's bringing us together. We may not be together in person, but we're going to be together virtually, online, and coming together and being together. And I'm so excited about tonight because even though we're all in different locations throughout the country, it's nice to get the physical therapy family together for an event like this.
Yeah, you're setting me up here with the radio segue. Next issue I'm going to toss to you, we want to hear about, is something that might look something similar to what we're doing on screen here.
Yeah.
Telehealth.
Telehealth. Wow. So many changes just in the last few months on the issue of telehealth. Now, before the pandemic, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants couldn't utilize telehealth, at least under Medicare. They couldn't, it was not reimbursable. We were not authorized providers under Medicare to do telehealth. One of the things that happened this spring is that when Congress began passing emergency legislation and there was the national emergency declared, one of the things that happened was when the public health emergency was declared, that gave certain temporary authority to expand the use of telehealth under Medicare. And again, thanks to all the work that all of our members did to contact Congress and CMS to make sure that they included physical therapy as one of the services that could be provided via telehealth. Right now, and ever since the spring, we have been allowed to not only to utilize telehealth under Medicare, but we're getting reimbursed just as if it was in person. Now that's been great, and it's been critical to not only ensuring patient access, but ensuring provider access. Those folks who are out there in the clinics, in the facilities, making sure that it's another tool to keep safe, and it's something that Medicare beneficiaries have loved. It's really popular. Now the problem is that it's only temporary. When the national emergency is declared over, all of these temporary waivers that have been allowed because of the emergency, all of those go away. And if that happens, then we go back to how it was back prior to the pandemic, where we don't get paid for telehealth under Medicare. But there's no way that the federal government can put this genie back in the bottle. Yeah. Telehealth has really taken off. And so what we need to do is we need to pass legislation that will ensure that physical therapists and physical therapist assistants can continue to deliver services provided via telehealth to Medicare beneficiaries. Now, we were working on this prior to the pandemic, and it was interesting, the response from Congress. There was a little bit of uncertainty. They were trying to wrap their minds around, well, how do you do physical therapy via telehealth? But because of the national emergency and us undergoing what is basically the largest unexpected pilot program on the use of telehealth nationwide, it is amazing the response and thoughts of members of Congress on telehealth now. They are seeing the benefits that this has in terms of patient access, provider safety, and really making sure that folks have access to the care that they need. And so we're going to see this issue continue to really move forward. We are hopeful that there's a couple bills that are floating around now that we anticipate a bill in the future to be introduced, maybe in mid to late October, that would do that, just what we're talking about, making permanent what we currently are allowed to do temporarily under the national emergency. And so it's critical. We've got to keep fighting and keep on working. And again, when you look at the members of Congress who are fighting for us, folks like Senator Schatz of Hawaii, Congressman Thompson of California, so many, again, bipartisan folks that we're talking about, who are looking to try to find a policy solution to make telehealth permanent. It's the role of PT-PAC and being able to show support for those folks who are fighting for us in Congress.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you're saying the genie can't get put back in the bottle. We got to make sure of that, though. We've got to make sure that legislation. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to throw you. We got time for one more with you. You good for one more?
I got it.
This is a virtual pep rally. I wish we were all in the same room. Wish we were together, but we're not. But I'm watching the comments and they're exploding. This one's the evil villain. This is the mega boss at the end of the video game right here. So I want to make sure I see fight the cut in the comments if you hate this one. Justin, 9%. That's all I'm going to say. 9% right now, Justin. Talk to us.
Making cuts during a global pandemic to healthcare is reckless and irresponsible. And it is absolutely insane that this proposal is even being floated. So, folks, right now, CMS is going to make cuts not only to physical therapy, but to 35 other healthcare providers, OT, speech, dietitians, radiologists, pathologists, surgeons. 35 different healthcare provider groups are slated for deep cuts on January 1st. Physical therapists were slated for a 9% cut. That's game over, man. That is incredibly insane to do. And so we have been advocating not only to CMS, to the White House, to HHS, saying you've got to stop this proposal, or at least redo it and rework it so the cuts aren't as deep or as broad as they're thinking. But CMS just is moving along saying we're going to implement on January 1st. And so if this happens, let's just be clear what's going to happen. First of all, patient access is going to suffer. And the patients who are going to suffer the most are those, again, in rural and underserved areas. When we look at where we're going to be, hopefully in January, we're going to hopefully be recovering from this pandemic. And physical therapy plays a critical and crucial role in the rehabilitation of patients who are getting over COVID. We're seeing this every day. Folks who have muscle weakness, folks who have cardiovascular issues. Physical therapy is the key to the recovery. It is part of the road to recovery. And the idea that physical therapy is going to get a 9% cut when we're in the middle of a pandemic, when we are critical in the recovery of our patients, again, is insane. But it's also going to hurt physical therapy small businesses. Clinics, again, in rural and underserved areas are not going to be able to manage this cut. And so CMS is being pretty stubborn. They're moving forward. And so we're now turning to Congress. We've been talking to Congress about this for about a year now, saying, CMS has this crazy idea. And Congress kept on saying, well, let's just wait and see if they're really going to do this. Let's wait and see in August, when they release the proposed 2021 rule. There's no way that they can do this. Well, as we saw in early August, they released the rule and indicating that, they're moving forward with these deep cuts, again, to 35 different healthcare provider groups effective January 1st. And so now it is time for Congress to intervene, to act, and prevent these cuts from happening. And we are working in coordination and in coalition with different healthcare provider groups. We're working with the chiropractors. We're working with surgeons. We're working with other therapy groups, AOTA, ASHA, radiologists, pathologists. There's very few things in this world that unite the healthcare provider community. This is it. And so thank you to everyone who's out there. # fight the cut. We are going to stop this. We're going to prevail. We're not going to let this happen.
I love that. You know what says a lot about our profession? We mentioned student loan repayment, and we watched the comments. Students obviously watching this is really aimed at the Flash Action Strategy, aimed at students, physical therapists, and physical therapist assistants. That got a lot of comments. We got more on Fight the Cut because I think they recognize, and that's why those students are in these professions or on their way, is because this will affect vulnerable populations. So I think it says a lot about the students watching and the students coming up in our profession. Yes, they're concerned about the student loan, but really watch these comments explode with Fight the Cut, # Fight the Cut. That's the thing that is really threatening our profession.
Oh,
all right.
I'm back. I just lost you there for a second.
There you go. Says a lot about the students. I want to thank you and your team for all the work that you're continually doing. And a lot of the time, I want to give kudos to Justin and his team. A lot of the time, it's not on camera. It's doing the legwork and, hitting the street and making relationships with advocates and people who are going to push this profession forward. Justin, thanks so much to you and your team for helping us. All right, let's get hype. Next guest, a veteran physical therapist who has no problem whatsoever asking you to reach into your pockets for the PT-PAC. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello in the comments to PT-PAC trustee, the lady in red jacket, Eva Norman. There she is. Are you ready? I think you're muted. It's 2020.
Muted. So sorry. I was just saying
the hashtag for 2020 is, in fact, you're still on mute. Eva, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on.
I was a little nervous. If you weren't wearing a red coat or the red jacket, I was going to be a little offended, but you got that. You're sporting it right there.
Absolutely. Anytime I talk about the PAC, I always have this coat on so I can be spotted anywhere, even virtually.
Even virtually from around the world. All right. Well, thanks, first of all, for all the hustling you and the other trustees in the red jackets do for the PT-PAC. Let's talk about the basics first. I know when I was in PT school, I might have heard about the PT-PAC, but maybe I didn't know exactly what it was. When someone asks you what the PT-PAC is and how it makes the profession better, how do you answer?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, the PT-PAC is the sole fundraising arm of the association that provides actually access and influence to legislators who can actually champion our issues on a federal level. It helps us get support or opposition to legislation that's important to us, and also helps us get our friends of physical therapy reelected. And take note that the PT-PAC is a federal PAC, separate from other PACs that you may hear about in your states. And it's also important to note that PT-PAC is a separate entity from APTA.
Yeah.
So that means that APTA dues cannot be used for your PT-PAC donations. And we can only accept donations from APTA members. And of course, contributions are voluntary. So that's kind of it in a nutshell of who we are.
But I think that nutshell, those basics, as we learn in PT school and PTA school, you got to start with the basics. So what's with the coat then? Like let people know who maybe haven't been to a conference before, these students who haven't seen, face-to-face, something like a CSM. What's the deal with the red coat?
So we decided to pick a color that obviously stood out. And when you see an individual wearing this coat, that means they're a PT-PAC Board of Trustee. They've been elected by the Board of Directors to essentially solicit to members across the country to help support our PAC. And so that's what the red stands for. The red coat stands for.
Lady in red. A lot of trustees in red. All right, Eva, how does the PT-PAC, explain this for us, help APTA members add value as practitioners? And why does that matter?
Absolutely. So Justin, of course, just shared with you about various different legislations that are so important to the profession. But let's even just talk about just these devastating cuts that are about to come. Hopefully will not happen, but on January 1st, it's going to be looking pretty doom and gloom. So what these dollars have allowed us to do thus far, since the pandemic started, we have met, our lobbyists and members across the country have had 175 virtual fundraisers with these dollars. And those virtual fundraisers, those face-to-face contacts with members of Congress have allowed them to educate them and develop relationships with them. Why is that important to note? Because when a letter was introduced earlier this year opposing these cuts, 80 to 90% of those members who signed, we had donated to their campaigns. Wow. We were friends with them. So these dollars are truly invaluable. Congress makes laws that are significantly impacting us. Without these dollars, we cannot get access to them or a chance to influence their vote, which could, of course, harm our future. So just in a nutshell, we cannot get legislation passed or introduced without these dollars. We cannot get letters signed without these dollars. In other words, we cannot move the profession forward without these dollars. I can't say it any better than that, guys. These dollars are invaluable to the future of your profession.
Yeah, I like to highlight where those donations go, because I mean, making a donation, you want to see that effect, right? You got time for some questions? Students want to know something. That's what Eva's here for. Question from the comments below on Facebook Live here. By the way, the hashtag is FAS2020 for the next 48 hours. What ability do we as contributors have to influence PT-PAC interests and efforts?
How do you have it? So, oh my gosh. So those dollars, as I mentioned, allow us, any donation, and it all counts. I mean, I know times are tough right now for everybody, but even just, contributing even a small amount. Imagine if every member gave $20, $10, $5. There's over 100,000 of us. I know, exactly, right? Become a student star, guys, tonight. But with those dollars, we can literally spend time. I have spent nearly 45 minutes with my member of Congress who recently introduced telehealth legislation. Think about that. To be covered by all private insurers. And I had 45 minutes to educate him on how valuable that would be prior to him introducing that legislation. And think about what that led to. And all it took was these dollars to be able to develop a relationship like that, to be able to spend time with him, to educate and develop that relationship. So every single person who donates can have a massive impact on the future.
It's important. Jeremy Camillo wants to know, why is it only APTA members who can donate? Why is that the rule? What's behind that?
Well, those are laws that obviously we can't change. That's just, because the PAC belongs to the association, is essentially a separate entity of the association, but is the sole fundraising arm of the association. Laws stipulate that we can only accept donations from the APTA members.
Excellent. Eva, thank you so much for all that you and the other trustees do. And I really, really hope that they're going to catch some of your energy right here. And help us with the PT-PAC. So I look forward to, when it's safe, seeing you in person and all those red coats. So thank you for all that you do.
Great to see you, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk again soon. All right, coming in the studio now, more physical therapy students. One from the Empire State of New York, The other is a cheesehead from Wisconsin. Welcome James Novak and Sam Zunder. Gentlemen, there it is.
Get that dab going.
Very strong introduction, guys.
I can never do that without being awkward, so I'll leave that to you, Sam.
Dial it back. Dial it back.
It's Virtual Pep Rally, so I was just trying to bring the pep. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's start with you, James. Let's treat it like a reevaluation. Let's revisit those goals that Kayla mentioned earlier. It's always good to focus on the things that we're trying to affect change on. So let's review those goals. What are we looking for the audience watching now live or listening to or watching a replay? What are the goals we want them to help us hit?
Absolutely. As we know, reiterating things is so important, especially in our profession. So, guys, listen here. Big 3 things with Flash Action Strategy this year. 3 big goals. Number 1, we need 3% student participation. Well, what's that look like? Well, if we have about 30,000 PT and PTA students combined, just that's an average number. 3% student participation, we're around 900, 1,000 students. I know we can do that. And in fact, I think 3%, I think that's something we can shoot right past.
Yeah.
Number two, we need $10,000 raised. And that might sound like a lot, but let's think about that a little bit. I just told you there's 30,000 PT and PTA students across the country. Okay. Now, any amount donated is good. Like Eva just said, we would love to have everyone be student stars, donate that $20. But if you can't, any donation will help. With 30,000 PT, PTA students, I have no doubt we're going to reach 10K, no doubt whatsoever. And last but not least, we're looking for 250 student stars. And to be a student star, like we talked about earlier, you have to make a $20 donation. And now, I know that might sound like a bit for a student at first, but I want you to think about it like this. Number 1, you get a V flashy pin, as we saw. You wear that like a badge. Very cool. But really, the number 2, the big thing is, look, you can say, I am a PT-PAC student star. They're going to have you printed on their website. And you can say, look, when my profession needed me most, when our backs were against the wall, all right, when we were on the menu, I stood up and I supported them. I became a student star. Heck, that's something I would put on a resume. That's something you could really speak to for being involved in the profession. So those are our 3 big goals.
Yeah, good re-rack, good reset. I like how you frame it. Really, if you're a student physical therapist, or if you're a student physical therapist assistant, we hope that you're in this profession for a long time. This is making a $20 donation that right now is really important. It's going to be even more important for the ramifications down the road. So thanks for re-racking for the goals there. Let's go over to Sam. Let's hear from you. Let's talk tactics. How are you getting students to participate? What things are you doing on a small level, which can have a pretty big effect?
Yeah, so just me personally. I mean, the great thing about this is that even though these are things that I've done to promote the Flash Action Strategy or try to, it's really something that any student can do. And it's really started with just emailing my program, emailing the other students in my program and saying, hey, here's the Flash Action Strategy, here's the PT-PAC, kind of getting them educated on what's going on in our profession right now and encouraging them to get involved. I also sent an email out to our state's core ambassador, asking her to get other programs in the state involved as well, which there is that competitive aspect of the Flash Action Strategy in terms of program involvement, but we're all in this together, so we all want as much student involvement as we can get. Certainly nowadays it might be a little bit more difficult to have these face-to-face interactions with other students, but take those opportunities when you can. I think it's a lot more powerful, when you can speak face-to-face with each other and advocate for the profession. In the same room as each other, and just get each other fired up about fighting for our patients and fighting for our profession.
I'm sorry, did you say fired up right there? I'm feeling pretty fired up.
I did. Just like that.
We mentioned what a student star is, but Sam, what does it mean to be a student star? The goal here is to get 250. We've got a bunch of people listening and watching right now. I would love to know if any of them have made the decision to donate that $20. Right? I'll donate $20. I want to hear from people who are saying, I will stand up for my profession and I'll donate $20 to be a student star. If you're going to do that, drop it in the comments with the hashtag FAS2020. Let us know if you're going to be a student star. But Sam, for you, what does being a student star mean to you?
Yeah, so like James already mentioned, I mean, it's a way for us to say that, you know, when our backs were kind of against the wall, we fought for our profession. I mean, for us as an organization, I mean, being a student star, as Kayla alluded to previously, you know, it's a way for us to recognize your contribution. Kind of sounds cliche that you know, any you know, contribution is significant, and there's no donation is too small, but it really is true. I mean, the dollars add up, and any donation that anybody would be willing to give is extremely important. So again, for the organization, it's a way for us to recognize you and your contribution to us and to your patients. For the students themselves, though, it's an easy way to show other people that you're informed and and quite literally putting your money where your mouth is. That again, you know, when your profession was facing a challenge, you stood up and you said, you know, I'm going to defend our profession. And most importantly, as the patients are always the center of everything we do, you fought for the patients that were going to be at risk. And so to me, that's ultimately what being a student star means.
I love that. Well said, guys. You guys are both third-year students. I don't know what you're doing here right now with this virtual pep rally. You guys should be studying. Get back to books. Get back to reviewing notes for clinic tomorrow. Thank you guys for coming on here and just sharing a little bit of that energy to make sure students, and we're watching the comments kind of go up there. Almost 300 viewers right now, all using that hashtag FAS 2020 for the next 48 hours. We can amplify our voice. I know right now we're virtual, but we can see what this tool of telehealth can do. Wow. A virtual flash action strategy can get a lot done. So hashtag FAS 2020. We're going to drop the link in the comments as well that you can be a student star for $20. The goal is $250. I'd love to blow past that one. Let's bring someone back in the studio. Lindsay's coming back in the show. There she is. Poof.
Hey.
Like magic. Better intro that time. Lindsay, how are we doing? You've been hanging out backstage with us.
I have. I've been following the comments.
All the comments, you've been listening to what everybody's been saying. How does that make you feel to watch and feel, even though they're not in the same room, your fellow students in your profession rally around this?
I am seriously, if I've been in the background, but my smile has not left my face. It has been so amazing to see everyone and just talk about it. I know them all personally. We've all met before, everyone that's been in this pep rally, and just seeing them so passionate makes me so happy. And you're doing a great job. You're the host extraordinaire. And I just think with this energy, we're going to make a difference. We're going to do something.
Yeah. I can't tell at all that you're excited. I really wish it came through in some way, but yeah, it looks like
it's the music you've been playing, you know? Just getting pumped up.
You got to get hyped for the flash action strategy. Liking what we're seeing in the comments there, everybody using that hashtag FAS 2020. This thing's 48 hours. It's going to go by quick. Like the clock is going to, you know, so we want people to don't put it off till tomorrow. We need, like, you know, the more people we get involved early, the better, right?
Right. Yes. So, I mean, it did start tonight. It started off right now. We are getting pumped. We're getting amped. But the next 2 days are the action days. We all need to take action. We need to educate ourselves. We need to take time in our programs. If you're in school right now, if you can, take 5 minutes to educate about what the PAC is and how it's impacting all of us, if that's possible.
Yeah. I like that one-to-one approach, right? I mean, absolutely share and reshare any message you see from APTA or from a fellow student or a clinician about the flash action strategy. But singling out one colleague or one classmate or one person who can do it, that can go a long way. If, you know, almost 300 people just watching live here on a Monday night with us, that can go a long way. As we wrap this virtual pep rally up, we got those on cue. Lindsay, we brought you back on. What's your parting shot, as we call it? What's the one thing you want to leave the audience with as they go ahead and really hit the clock for 48 hours in this flash action strategy? What's the thing you want in their mind as they go out of here?
Well, there's one thing, but then there's also a couple things. But the biggest thing is to really make sure that our future is a priority for all of us, because we are the future. And if we don't invest in it right now, that is going to be troublesome for our future. And so definitely make our profession and our future a priority in our lives right now. And a simple way, even if it's not donating $1 or $20 or $200, is, are you registered to vote? Are you able to vote in this upcoming election and for all of the lawmakers that are PT friends? So make sure you are registered to vote, make sure your neighbors are registered to vote, make sure everyone's registered to vote, and then get out there and actually do it.
Yeah, I'm excited what I'm seeing right now live in the comments, but I do not at any point want to take our foot off the gas. A lot of hype. But we don't want to lose that. So we want to keep this momentum going. So we're letting you know, hashtag FAS 2020, retweet and share, amplify your voices. And as Lindsay's saying, this is very, very important. We need to come together as a profession to make sure ultimately our patients are taken care of. Always amplify your voice. If you're in a PT or PTA program, ask your faculty to support you being stars. What if you pay them, they pay 10? Right? What if you could do that? What if you could amplify your voice there? And again, make sure you're registered to vote on all levels. Lindsay, thanks so much for this. I appreciate you guys and everybody else who's been on the show tonight for taking their time. We'll make sure we drop in the comments the links to vote and, to donate. We'll make sure we get you that. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen. If anything has resonated with you, we'd love to see that energy in action by participating, as well as using that hashtag, as we mentioned, FAS 2020 on all of your platforms. On behalf of your American Physical Therapy Association, the leading voice in the healthcare industry, positive influencers on the physical therapy profession, and a strong collective force for improving the human experience. Find out more at apta.org/FAS. For your virtual pep rally, I'm physical therapist Jimmy McKay. Thanks for listening.